Good morning, everyone. Well, good afternoon. Hope all's well. So, we are going to be going live with one of my buyers, clients, who is in the London asset capital management. Yeah, the background's different from my house today because I'm in a luxury home viewing, and I got the permission from the owner to do a live session in here, which gives it free marketing. So let's send it to Mr. Rahim Ahmed. Send. Yeah, he should be joining in. Whoever's celebrating Eid, during these times, it's been on since Friday, Saturday, Sunday, today, Monday. Mr. Rahim Ahmed, hello. For some reason, I'm having trouble, technical difficulties. Here we go. Sorry. Add. You need to accept the chat notification that I've sent to you. Here we go. Assalamu alaikum, Rahim Saab.
Assalamu. How are you?
Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak. Eid Mubarak.
Thank you for joining me in today. I've been doing these live sessions for a while where I speak to businessmen like yourself, entrepreneurs like myself, um, any kind of people, musicians, artists, all that sort, to increase knowledge, positivity, and to let people know about business, how it's done, what they can do during these times, all that kind of stuff. So today I've got a bit of a different setting because I'm viewing a house right now. So I thought I'll just quickly do a live session here.
Price of one.
The house gets free marketing for 30 minutes, whatever that I'm on here for. So I thought I'll do it here. And I've got permission from the owner to do so. So it's good. Rahim Saab, thank you so much for joining in. The whole point of me doing this, like I mentioned, is to give that positivity and get people out of that negative thought process, not just for now, but for days, years, months to come. And they would be looking at this live session. Whatever you may say today, someone may take it as their positive motion in life to sort of come out of all that negative that they're having, during their life, at whatever time. So before we start, if you can introduce yourself. I know that you run an asset management company.
Sure. So,
if you can introduce yourself as to who you are and what you do, and then we can get the conversation going.
sure. So my name is Rahim Ahmed. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at London Capital. London Capital Asset Management is a real estate investment fund. We've been running for about, say, 10, 11 years now. We asset manage UK properties only. So nothing in Europe, nothing elsewhere. It's just
stretch all the way from London, going all the way to Scotland.
Up to, I must say, we have looked at stuff in Scotland, but we've never done anything up there. So to date, it's only, not by choice, but it's just happened that it's only been in England.
Okay.
We have investments throughout the country. And our investments are based purely on what our clients mandate. The way London Capital works is we have a pool of investors. It doesn't have to be the same pool each time. It can be different ones per property. And they will give us a mandate. They'll tell us that, listen, this is how much we're putting in, and this is what we want. This is what we want to do. And based on that,
You
we
go out search for property.
yeah, go out, we find the property, we secure it. What we try to eliminate is the whole, being gazumped or not having control of the situation. That's the one thing that
Care of the whole management package. Like if someone
yeah,
comes to you, the investor comes up and says, okay, Mr. Ahmed, here is £1 million. I want you to invest it. Do
yeah.
they always dictate the return, or you?
Okay, so if it's a case of not every investor, because a lot of the people who we deal with, their main business is not real estate.
Yep.
Oil and gas. They're into other commodities, and
So,
yeah,
yep.
different.
Yep.
We've got some doctors as well. We've got some, so they want something that's passive, and they don't have the knowledge. So it's one thing. Yes, you're right. I will have people come in and say, I'd like a 15% return per annum or something. It's not realistic. Okay. And I want to be, buying a property on Bond Street
Yep.
for, £500,000, and I want this. It's. So you also have to manage their expectations. You have to let them know that this is how, the real estate market here in London works, or in the UK
Before
works.
we carry on further, I mean, you mentioned you're doing this now for about approximately 11 years, right?
Right.
Um, Before that, I know I'm taking you a long time back.
Yeah.
School, college, university. Did you always think that property or asset management and
I
doing
think
and working with people's money is always what you wanted to do, or you had other aspirations in life that you wanted to be a doctor or an architect or lawyer?
no. I think I'm doing pretty much what I always thought I would be doing.
Okay.
Um, I did high school and university out in the US.
Yep.
Before that, I was here in London, and
Yep.
university I came back to London, and I've been back since.
And you come from
I,
a family background
yeah,
where
and my,
other.
yeah. So my parents, my dad, he owned hotels out in the US. Here before that, before we moved to the US, he he had various real estate investments. So that's what the background always was. Um, I never, I think I once or twice thought about, going into law and stuff like that. But it just, when I look at the kind of returns you can make in what we're doing, it just, and I'm not knocking any other profession, because
Absolutely.
without
But
people,
property's up there, right?
yeah, but yeah, exactly. The property market, if you're going to invest your time and effort into something, it's got to be worthwhile.
Absolutely.
And once again, I'm not saying what other people do isn't worthwhile, but for me, that return, when not only the return, it's also the trust factor. When a client gives me their money, and that money is safely returned back to them with a premium and a return, that satisfaction, where they turn around and say, you know what, where's the next investment?
Of course.
And they're constantly calling and saying, Rahim, come on, where's the next one?
That's the whole point of doing this, right? To build that trust and bond with a client, that not that you need the client, but the client needs you, because
Yeah,
you've gone out of your way in the first instance and given him that return on his
yeah,
money.
yeah.
Uh, so obviously you've been doing this for 11 years. Before that, what were you doing? Like when you finished university and you got to London?
So, after university, my
The reason
my
you these
parents like
youngsters, teenagers, university going graduates who will watch this, and I
okay,
want to
so
build their inspiration on it.
so you've got to okay, even back in America when my parents, when my parents had hotels, and they were like decent sized hotels. My dad was like, you have to know every aspect of it. So if you wanna run this place, you've got to know how long it takes to strip a bed, how long it takes to clean that bathroom, how long because
Don't tell me he put you in the room to do all of that
I've
stuff.
done it all. I've done it all. I have
Right.
cleaned, stripped
So even
beds. I've done.
if you had a family business, he made you start at the bottom.
Yeah, because he said you can't. The thing is, the worst thing is to be in a position of management and not know what you're managing.
Exactly.
To be in a position of management and actually being managed by the people you're managing. Okay,
Yep.
so what would happen is these maids would go into the rooms, and a room that would take let's say
20
10,
minutes. 10
yeah,
minutes. Yep.
you know completely get done. They'd spend like half an hour in each room and then come in, clock their card and take the
Yep.
money.
Yep.
So my dad was like, no, you've got to know it. You've got to know. So if somebody comes back half an hour later, there has to be a valid reason.
Reason.
It's not,
Absolutely.
they're just doing it for the heck of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I've done all that. Did high school and university over there. Then we moved back here, and I didn't get into properties right away. Let's see, what did I first do? I did recruitment consulting.
Okay.
Yeah, I became a recruitment consultant for some very small firm. Um, I think it was based out in what was it based? Wembley,
Okay.
based in Wembley, and
And you were dealing with IT professionals or
it was what kind of? It was just general recruitment. It was
general?
general recruitment, and it was, not the nicest place to be. And I remember the guy who hired me as well. He was not, he wasn't the nicest person either.
Okay.
But it goes to you've got to end up dealing with everyone.
Of course. Of course.
I
Brother,
think it
for
comes.
7 years, he's into recruitment and he complains every single day. It's
Yeah,
either his boss, it's either the workers that come and take the
yeah,
job.
yeah.
Yeah. But
So there's always there's always a level of to get to a certain position, you've got to deal with everyone.
of course.
You've got to know how to deal with them. And I think, once you've dealt with them and you got to that certain position, then you can pick and choose. You can turn around and say, you know what, I'm really not going to waste my time with this guy anymore.
Yeah.
But you have to go through those motions.
Of course.
And, for anyone,
Everything in life to get where you want to be, right? And like yours
yeah,
today.
yeah. So
Um, as
now I'm in a decent enough position where I can turn around and, if a client is not exactly the way I'd like him to be, or I can tell him to listen, take a hike. I'm not interested.
do you feel comfortable being in a dictating position?
Um, yes.
And does it feel any different to when you were being dictated to that, Rahim, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, and then coming to a position today where you can dictate to your client now that you got to be of a certain standard to work with me.
Yeah. So even back then, one thing, I was always like, this is my job. This is what I've
Yeah,
got. And like it or lump it, I've got to do it. And I never really, I didn't enjoy the whole sales to begin with
yeah,
in recruitment.
yeah.
Uh, but I got promoted in another because I shifted over to another company. I worked for, what's it? I think it was Reed or someone as well.
Okay.
And I got promoted to like the branch manager or team manager or something like that. But I enjoyed. I was much better at the team management than I was at the basic sales.
Yep.
But when I was doing the sales, it was something I had to do, and it's best to give it 100%
Of course.
when you're doing whatever you're doing.
There's no point of doing anything if you can't give it your 100%.
Yeah. But I always had I always had in the back of my mind that I don't want to be doing this all for the rest of my life.
Indeed.
I need to. This is a means to an end, and I need to find the next stepping stone.
Was that like just one day you got up and you thought that I got to stop this?
No. It was always from day one. It was
Okay.
from the before I even got my first job. It was like, okay, I need to be in this position. I can't get there right now.
You got to step yourself up.
I'm not there right now either. But I need to.
You're not there right now.
No. I'm not even anywhere near it. I need.
This is the passion that people are wanting to see. Like the fact that you have now achieved where you are today. Like clients are coming up to you and you're managing their funds and everything like that, and yet you're hungry for more. And
Yeah, there's always more. There's always bigger and better. There's always more, and we're not we're not in the business of you can't grow if you're not honest with yourself and your business. So we're at a point where people do put in millions of pounds with us.
Yep.
Right, but now we need to obviously take that into not the tens of, but in the hundreds of millions, and take it even bigger and better, and maybe even expand to different countries. But
when you started your company, this London asset management company that you 10 years ago, did you face any hardships doing that? I mean,
right. So I'd moved back. I think a year or two before I started, I was in Dubai, with my family, and I was, I was when I moved out there, I realized that there's everyone out there is trying to sell properties. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? I'm not really.
2008, 2009, something like that.
It was 2000 and. I moved out there, I think 2006.
Okay.
And
so the property market must have been like escalating.
Yeah. So I did the usual. I joined a few developers, and I started selling a few properties.
Sure.
But then I realized that everyone and their mother is doing that. I need to how can I how can I change things? So what I did is the thing is the time and effort that you put into selling a property, be it a small 1-bedroom house or £100 million property, it's still effort that you've got to put in, maybe a little bit more, a bit less, but you've got to go through the motions. I realized quite quickly that if I'm going to put in time and effort, I might as well put it into the bigger properties instead of the small 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom flats. I might as well put it into the much larger buildings. And what I did out there is I found a few building owners, and I realized that the returns in Dubai were far more than anywhere else. The people I tried to sell one building out there. I still remember it's like $105 million. And it was the first, I'd never sold at that level or anything like that. But I found the owner and I was like, okay, what kind of return? And I still remember he hadn't set out the total.
Multiple residential units, commercial?
No, this was commercial. This was a commercial building.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, in Dubai Marina or in Dubai, uh, in Dubai, Internet City or something. One of their, one of their,
Tech City.
yeah. So it was an entire building. I think 90% was let out. I think Siemens was there and so forth. So they had some good names there.
Okay.
So I went down and I was like, listen, you're running this. What about selling it?
Mm.
You know, and at that time, not many funds were interested in Dubai. Uh, I don't think they are even now. But what I had
At
managed to,
one point, I did hear that a lot of people were going into Dubai and buying because before the 2008 crash, a lot of people were going to Dubai for jobs, uh,
yeah, yeah,
work there, and people were buying as well.
yeah, yeah.
You know,
So
I heard of people who were going out there and snapping up 5, 6 apartments on the whole basis of flipping them. Like how people do it nowadays, like off plan, buy
yeah,
one and pay a deposit. And at that point, the dirham and everything was so low, so people could go out there and buy 5, 10, 15, and
yeah,
that's what sort of made way for the crash that happened in
yeah,
Dubai.
yeah. There's several factors. So
Yeah.
what I did is I got in touch with, and just purely out of cold calling, I got in touch with a few funds.
Okay.
I'd secured the property because I realized from experience back in London, if you don't secure something properly, then it's neither here nor there. You don't have anything.
Yeah.
Uh,
This question a few times.
yeah. So I secured the property
Yep.
as much as you could out there. And then I got in touch with a few big hitters. I got in touch with Colony Capital out in the US. I still remember I called them and the guy was like, I got through to the, I think he's the managing director of the Western Seaboard or something like that. And he was like, I can't believe you just, called and you're pitching me a property. I was like, listen, before you put the phone down, I just listen to what I've got to say. Because it's, I know you're based on returns and check these returns out. So he actually had, this is a $36 billion fund at the time. They had somebody, based on my call and the information I'd sent, they had somebody fly out to Dubai. Okay.
Just
Now,
because cold call.
yeah.
One.
Yeah, because of my one cold call. So, and he was like, listen, the pitch, obviously I had the right pitch. I did that. I made the right, I said the right words and I had the right property. So he's like, listen, you're the first person to actually, Savills and Knight Frank have been trying to get us out to Dubai for years now. And you're the first person, here I am, Mr. Nobody, not a single person knows me. And here I am, I've got like one of the directors, he flew out from Beirut, flew out to Dubai. And, the deal didn't happen. But the fact that, he flew out, they went through a lot of due diligence on that property. But the Dubai market, the thing is, the Dubai people are more like, listen, forget the law. You just give me a deposit and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
And with like these pension funds and all these kind of institutions, you can't do that. They go by a mandate. They go by certain laws. They just don't hand out deposits and stuff like that. So, it didn't happen. I even got a fund from Germany to fly out. They were also like, I can't believe you've got us to come out here. But it was at that point that I
You
realized.
mentioned about cold calling, right? Do you think cold calling in today's day and age still works?
Um, it's difficult now. Now things are that much more difficult because,
Of
but
the
at the same time,
present.
you know what to say and who to call. That's the main
Yeah.
thing. Um, it is not easy. It's not easy, and luckily I don't do much of it anymore at all. But at the same time, it's an essential part of business. You
Yeah.
know, if you're not going to meet somebody new, how do you plan on taking it to the next level?
Of
So
course.
so even so back then, realized that, listen, if I'm going to spend time on doing something, what I want to do is target institutions, be it corporate America or corporate Europe, target institutions and sell them corporate institutional properties. And that's where I wanted to focus. And then when I think my wife fell pregnant with our second, and she was like, well, I don't want the child to be born in Dubai. I want him to be born back here in London. So we moved back to London, and I think pretty much soon then, the crash happened. But at the same time, I was like, well, listen, crash or no crash, you still got to put food on the table.
Absolutely. And today we are in that same predicament again.
Yeah,
where
we are. We're facing a huge crash.
Property market.
Yeah.
London is still okay. It's holding itself, but there are other economies in the world. The property markets are crashing, and
no, we'll also see it. But there is a silver lining, and even now, if you can position yourself, you are going to be in a very good position when you come out of this.
Of course.
And
do you think it's the right opportunity to buy a property in every crash?
Now's the time.
If
you've got the money, I know banks aren't lending. Banks, even on a few of our projects where we will put, it's cash funded for the purchase, but when it comes to the construction, sometimes it's cash funded, sometimes it's bank funded. A few of the banks who have agreed to lend us money have now all of a sudden turned around and said, well, let's wait and see what happens after the post-pandemic.
And that wait is how long for you? I mean, 2 months.
They don't know. So to begin with, it was let's wait for a couple of months, and this was back in March.
Yeah.
And here we are now, and they're still saying, well, let's another few more months. Let's give it a few more months.
Of course.
So that's fine.
During these 11 years that you set up your company, London Capital Asset Management. London Capital Asset Management. If you can give me an example of your biggest deal and your most complicated deal?
So we've, I can't, because there's a reason why our clients use us, because we keep things confidential. But I can tell you of our largest deal, which we didn't do, but we were the runner-up on
the bidding.
The bidding. So we were the second highest bidder, and we went through all the motions, but at the end we just didn't get it, and that was the War Office for 375 million.
Wow.
And we had everything lined up. We had our investors ready to go. We had the construction company ready to go.
What are you getting on that?
Sorry?
What sort of return did you calculate that if you bought it, you would? Sorry, I'm picking your brains.
Yeah, that's a while ago now. I think we, as a rule, we try to go for. We don't look at anything that's less than 25%.
Wow.
As a rule.
It'd be a down market, it'd be an up market, whatever. You look at 25% as your minimum.
As a minimum. So ideally, we will not engage. It has to be a spectacular property in London, in the heart of London, for us to engage at 25. If it's outside London, anything less than 30, we would just, not look at. And I don't mean a yield. I mean return on
investment.
Profit on construction. Profit on cost, sorry. So it has to be well above that sort of level. And if I remember, the War Office, We had got the figures to the point where it was about the 25% mark.
And did you know sort of what price were you outbidded by?
Um, I think we had gone up to about 370. I think they had gone to like the 400 mark. I think it was. So, there's a point where everyone cuts off, and where it makes sense, and they maybe have a different angle, and they can see a different angle. We just couldn't see it.
And an example of your most complicated one?
Um, I think
I'm sure every deal is complicated, but
we did a student accommodation scheme
okay,
here in London,
okay,
and it was. I mean, look, there's always complications in everything we do,
of course.
and but I think the main complications arise from lack of information. Uh, Once a deal is agreed, it's agreed, and um, if the seller doesn't want to sell to you for any sort of reason, then they'll come up with whatever excuses. But
But
if
that seller doesn't want to sell it to you because he's got a higher price from somewhere else.
it could be that, or it could be, just recently we were buying a property. Everything's done, ready to go, and the person who this is just before exchange. The person who's selling it to us, he was about 94 years old. He passed away.
Oh,
Yeah. So we're like, we kind of knew he was at that point anyway, because I think at that time he was, not too, he was too
well,
poor. Yeah.
yeah.
So we had already spoken with, the solicitors, and they had confirmed that they have power of attorney
Yep.
to proceed. But after everything, you had a ready, willing, and able seller. You had us who were, ready to proceed. I think the son stepped in. He just said, no, you know what? I'm not selling it. I'm withdrawing power of attorney. It's going to probate, and that's it. That's the end of it.
Wow.
So, we could have waited for it. We could have said, all right, we'll see what happens. But
Do you strongly believe in the fact? I mean, I believe in it, but do you believe that a deal's not done until it's done,
yeah,
or
oh yeah, even till the last minute.
changes and everything, but
There's always 1,000 variables.
you lose all that time, effort, money
Yeah.
that you put into it? Um, quick question I have for you is, how do you see the London or the UK property market shaping up moving forward?
So, um, I think some sectors are going to get hit quite badly. Hotels.
Are you waiting for a lot of commercial and hotel properties to come on board on the market?
Yeah. Yeah.
Repossess.
So, if any of your followers have good assets, we're in the position, right?
Get in touch so I can sell it to you.
Get in touch. No, I tell you, now is the time. Now is the time. We've secured a few deals right now.
And they've been like at a price like 20.
So no, one's at one hasn't been secured yet, but we're hoping to. But the guy's come down from about 9 million. He's come down to about we're hoping about 6.
Okay. Wow.
Okay. We've done another one at about 3 some odd million. We've hopefully looking at another one right now, which is a quick receivership deal just for 1 million.
And
But we've
these are like at the mark that you want, like 25%, 20%.
well, the 6 million one. The 1 million pound one that we're hoping to secure. Its GDV is about 6 million, 7 million, something between 6 and 7. It needs about, I think, about £1.5 million worth of work done to it. So it's all in. You're about 2.5 million. Your GDV is 6.5, some odd million. It's a clear £4 million in there.
So in your eyes, there are a lot of deals to be done, provided you can find them, or provided you can bring the owner down on the price that you want.
You have to. Look, if there's a seller out there who doesn't want to, who can ride this out, he's not going to do a deal with you regardless, and you're wasting your time with him.
Of course.
Is the guy who needs the cash right now, is the guy who needs to get out of the situation, or he's in a situation right now.
Yep.
He needs to get out of it, and that's where we can, we can fly in and
Wrap up.
yeah. Look, you and I, we worked together before on stuff. We're in a position where we can exchange within a few days, and we can complete within a few days.
Absolutely.
But you're right.
I do this with everyone that comes on my live session, and I want to give, like I mentioned, I want to give something back to the people through your words, obviously. There are a lot of youngsters, teenagers, university graduates, employed, unemployed, redundant, furloughed, business owners, property investors, people who've gone bust, businesses that have gone bust. What advice would you like to give them that they take that advice and they can turn all that negative around them into something positive and come out of this pandemic, out of this whole recession mode that we are in, with a positive vibe, and start something amazing for them in their life? Like we all say, right? Pandemics and recessions, they happen for a reason, for you to get that opportunity and make it.
Yeah.
What sort of advice would you like to give them?
Look, I mean, first and foremost, I'm a religious believing man. So, what's going to happen is going to happen.
Of course.
But as any individual, you need to struggle. Sitting idle is never a good idea. But also, running around like some busy monkey is not either. Okay, I've got to do this, let me do this, let me read this, let me go. You're better off conserving energy and waiting, or trying to create that opportunity and
picking the right opportunity
yeah.
for you and going for it.
Yeah. And you might not succeed in it. You may, fall flat.
Yeah.
Fine. You just go again and again and again. Some things are a lot more difficult. But I read this one post that somebody sent me. It takes 16 months to 16 hours to build a Toyota something or another, and it takes 16 months to build a Rolls Royce. So you figure out, what you're looking at doing, a Rolls Royce or a Toyota. So that's the bottom line. But for anyone trying to get into properties, the first thing you need to do, and I say this not only from experience of going through it, but as an essential part of business, is secure your seller.
Of course.
Because in this business, everyone will try going behind your back 100%. And cut you out, and figure out a way, or even the seller will try to figure out a way where they can save £50,000 commission, or
You're talking about £50,000. I'll tell you about £3,000. Come on, people do this kind of stuff even for £3,000. But like it's always good to secure the vendor.
Yeah.
It's all about trust, right? If you're trusting the vendor that you're going to spend all this time, all this effort doing viewings with people, they need to appreciate that an agent is coming out of his set of time to do all this for you, to just to earn, I mean, let's say £1 million property, what's the commission on that? 10,000. It's not much, but like you mentioned, it's always great to
Yeah,
secure your
to,
vendor.
yeah, yourself properly.
Can I
You,
interest you in the house over here?
what do you think? What do you?
Here, it's a mansion in Enfield, Barnet, 6 bedrooms.
Where is it?
Barnet. Do you know where Hadley Wood is? Beach Hill, Enfield. Yeah. So it's pretty good, and I'm just showing it to you right now.
This is the one. Begins with an A.
Aria.
I forget. I think one of the agents over there sent it to me.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
I don't think
I'm not looking. I'm not looking, but agents like they're they do send stuff. But
it took me. You're on my you've been on my email list for such a long time. It took me like for you to see me. It took the pandemic for you to see me.
Yeah, I know.
But it's been amazing talking to you. Thank you so much for joining me today, sharing all this positive knowledge and your life career of how you started and where you are today. And like you mentioned, you're still hungry. You're still going at it.
Always.
You're at the 10 million mark, and you want to get up to the 100 million, a billion mark. And I hope the very best for you, that you achieve that as soon as possible. So thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure having you on.
Thank you so much for your time.
Take care.
Take care. Bye
Love.
now.
Bye. So that was Mr. Rahim Ahmed of London Capital Asset Management, who joined me in today speaking about investment in properties in London, and about his life, career, how he started from, like his father even made him do the rooms and the beddings in the hotels that they were managing, just to learn how to run your business. And it's key that, not just saying this as a business owner myself, but if you have kids and you want those kids to learn what you do and you want them to grow within your business, it's key for them to join your business and to learn about your business at that stage, that they can carry that business on in life and succeed. The last thing that you want by spending all that blood, sweat, and tears in that business is for it to go down. And it's always key to teach them how it's done. So thank you so much, firstly, to Mr. Rahim Ahmed to come on here, sharing his views, the knowledge, the positivity. And thank you to all the viewers that tuned in. And I hope you may have learned from all this today and taken some positive advice and build your career on that. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day, and I will see you on my next live session very soon. What a beautiful house. Look at that. Look at that chandelier. Just wow, amazing. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.